As Hurricane Milton clears out of Central Florida, residents are returning to their homes to investigate what damage has been done on the coasts. BioReconstruct has done the same thing with the short flight over Epic Universe to see what damage, if any, has been caused by Hurricane Milton at Universal Epic Universe. Along with this damage assessment around Epic Universe, we have a few new details that have been unveiled in the last week. A few of those details being Mario installed on top of the fountain near the Super Nintendo store, the ride platform being uncovered at Constellation Carousel, and a tent covering starting at Curse of the Werewolf. All of that and more on this week's special Universal Epic Universe Construction Update. Before we get started, last update I highlighted the impacts of recent hurricanes around the southeast United States, and this need for help is still as relevant as ever. If you are able, please donate to the American Red Cross Hurricane Relief Fund below, because every dollar counts. With Hurricane Milton dropping around 10 inches of rain around the Orlando area, we were bound to see some effects from this at Epic Universe. The most obvious result is that all of the water features inside of the park are full of sediment after being crystal clear just last week. When it comes to damage, luckily, Volcano Bay saw the worst of it throughout all of the Universal properties. At Epic Universe, the damage was limited. Inside of Super Nintendo World, a light pole along the ride path of Yoshi's Adventure was damaged. Dark Universe saw the worst of Milton, with one tree fully blown over inside of Curse of the Werewolf queue, along with a tent issue above the tracks. This first section of tenting appears to be collecting rainwater, with the sheer amount of rain that Milton dropped on the area. There also looks to be a small tear towards the center of the canopy. The last thing to note of the effects of Milton inside of Epic Universe is there are several areas of pathway that are stained from dirt overflowing from gardens that have yet to be planted. The most notable area of this occurrence is inside of the colorful courtyard in front of the Kronos Tower. A construction staging area outside of Epic Universe has flooded from the rain. Water levels are currently still at bumper level of the trucks stranded in this area. Now that we have gotten the damage assessment out of the way for the park, it is time to take a look at what is new around Epic Universe. Starting off in the new wizarding world of Harry Potter, I am back sounding like a broken record where nothing new has appeared in the last week. However, there are still a few new details to note. Near the butterbeer cart, we are able to see our first detailed look at the cobblestone pavement that will be used throughout the streets. Along the rooftops of the land, several of the shutters are both open and closed, giving the lived-in feel to these buildings, and not a cookie-cutter design being all open or closed. I would not be surprised though if these shutters serve a dual purpose, being storm shutters in the event of a hurricane to protect the upper level windows. At the front of the land, the replica archway that guests will travel through to access Paris. The scaffolding platforms have been removed in preparation for Hurricane Milton, giving us a chance to see the detail that has been worked on for the last several updates. Next door, in the faraway land of Burke, Milton spared any major damage other than depositing some sediment in the lagoons in the land. The newly installed tent tops at Viking Training Camp and Fire Drill are still intact. In fact, a new tent top has been installed on the backside of the entrance to Hiccup's winged gliders. At the entrance to Fire Drill, additional dragon houses have been installed on the column nearby. Overlooking the Fire Drill Lagoon, the outdoor seating area for Spitfire Grill has seen about half of the initial concrete poured. Workers are actively working on this area during this flyover. Across the land at Viking Training Camp, new dragon theming has been installed around one of the tallest points in the play area. This looks like it will be the first of many themed dragons in this part of the land. From the Land of Dragons to the Mushroom Kingdom, other than the light pole having small damage, Milton spared any major damage to this land. Throughout the Mushroom Kingdom, we are able to see the preparation that was taken. This would include the scaffolding platforms around the golden character head above Minecart Madness being temporarily removed, along with several small items being bundled together and a pallet sandwiching it all together. With the scaffolding platforms removed, this gives us our best look of the character head to date and the true progress being made. On the ground inside of Donkey Kong Country, near the entrance to the mini-land, a new archway has been installed in the past week outside of the scaffolding that lines the dividing wall. Inside of the Mushroom Kingdom, no additional work to Bowser's face has taken place, and the only noticeable progress is the fresh sculpting of brickwork that is taking place around Peach's castle. Next door, inside of the land based off Universal Monsters, being Dark Universe, this land saw the brunt of the damage caused by Milton as we went over earlier. The biggest change inside of Dark Universe this week also was the site of the most noticeable effects from Milton. The purple tent top near one of the ends of the coaster building is the newest addition to the coaster. This purple section is likely just the base layer, and there will be multiple layers added like the tent inside of the Wizarding World at the front of the theater show. Just beyond Curse of the Werewolf is Frankenstein's Manor, which, like many other structures around Epic Universe, the scaffolding platforms have been removed for Hurricane Milton. Workers can be seen reinstalling the platforms during this flight to continue work on the Manor's tower. While these platforms were removed, it has given us a chance to see some of the detail that has been harder to see in recent flights. We can see the recently added roof peaks along with details of the roof in these close-up shots. From a distance, we can see many of the details on the main tower, even though the scaffolding framing gives the whole tower a cloudy look. Just off to the right of the manor, the forest has gotten a denser look to help hide the show building from sight at ground level. Just outside of the Dark Universe portal, closer to the main show fountain inside of Celestial Park, the light poles along the pathways have received the gold bases that I talked about in the last update. Along the pathway, Celeste Tiki Bar has started to receive vertical column theming before the roof details start. The statue of Helios between the Helios Grand Hotel and the main show fountain was another section of scaffolding that the platforms were removed in preparation for the storm. Closer to the middle of Celestial Park, in front of the building which houses the Super Nintendo store and Pizza Moon, the fountain has seen the addition of the bronze Mario statue on top. On the other side of the pathway is Constellation Carousel, which has had its ride platform uncovered. Looking closer, the detail of this platform with the blue base and golden detail design looks absolutely stunning. Between the middle and first water feature in Celestial Park, near the bridge that separates the two features, a new grass area has been planted in the gardens, giving some much needed color to this part of the park. Nearby at the Phase 2 dining locations, on the roof, blue framing is being installed along the roof peak near the main entrance. Looking closer at this framing, it appears that this will be a glass roof and act as a sort of sunroof. Around the backside of the building, some of the walls are starting to be installed as well. The last large group of scaffolding that has had platforms removed for the storm was the section surrounding Atlantic. Several of these sections of platforms are bundled together and are partly submerged in the water feature in front of Atlantic. Around front at the entrance to Atlantic, we can start to see the details of the roof line starting to be installed, with the lower level closest to the doors being installed. Between Luna Overlook and the Kronos Tower, a large circular concrete form is starting to be installed, which will be the home to a colorful concrete courtyard. This is the largest of the colorful concrete courtyards found inside of Celestial Park, which is only fitting since it is the entrance to all of Epic Universe. Along the base of the Kronos Tower and surrounding buildings, we can see rock-sculpted curbing has been formed. Inside of the Kronos Tower, the next section of pathway has been poured, and work is starting on the following section, where what looks like more lights are being prepared at ground level. Overlooking this area, the first of 4 glass domes on top of the entrance support buildings has nearly been completed. The last small sections of colorful courtyard have been poured near the base of the Kronos Tower on the entrance side of the tower. All in all, the damage at Epic Universe from Hurricane Milton was very minimal luckily, and should not affect the timeline that Universal has on opening the park. Still, there is no word from Universal on the opening, but hopefully we will have some indication by the end of the year as we get closer to the completion of this highly anticipated theme park. A big thank you to BioReconstruct as always for the aerial views and his continued coverage on the park. If you like this video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you do not miss the next Universal Epic Universe construction update. And until next time, travelers, have a great one.